Development of the necessary abilities in analytical writing is comparable to the steps required in learning how to ride a bicycle. They both require that an individual learn the necessary requirements before they can apply their ability to perform either task. To ride a bike, a person must understand the concept and demonstrate their knowledge by not falling off. This same necessary ability applies to demonstrating the requirements of a distinctive paper. At the beginning of the semester, I did not anticipate such a challenging course that would influence my writing to such an extent. I entered English 1101 with poor writing skills that were far below the level of distinction, and the thought of analytical writing did not appeal to my business-oriented mind. I eventually began to enjoy the course and understand its application in my life. Throughout the semester, I had difficulty developing the components of an effective paper, particularly with unity and coherence. However, near the end of English 1101, my writing abilities have progressed to a level that I did not believe was possible of achieving back in August. Learning these writing skills were just like learning the steps of riding a bike. My goal for this semester was to be able to ride my bike to the end of the street. Before proceeding with my development task in writing and writing, I felt inclined to introduce myself to my instructor through a biography. The document titled How One Question Changed the Direction of My Life tells the story of one of the greatest accomplishments of my life thus far. The biography embodies my passionate and driven personality. I was filled with a mixture of pride, elation, and nervousness as my team stood waiting to be called. It was in this moment that I realized exactly where I was standing. I was amongst the top banking students in the nation. I was about to receive an award that would not represent the finality of my work, but rather the beginning. I believe that the biography is a necessary component in understanding my writing ability and who I am as a person. Future Business Leaders of America was the acting catalyst in my transformation from an uninvolved student to a passionate finance enthusiast. The same could be said about my English 1101 course in regards to writing. The assignment marked the beginning of my learning experience. Sitting on the bike, I knew that I would find difficulty in the essay soon to follow. Placing my feet on the pedals, I felt anxious and excited. I was determined to demonstrate my knowledge to my instructor. While working on my image analysis, United We Stand, Divided We Fall, I wanted to go in a number of directions and could not connect all of my ideas back to my thesis. Upon visiting the UGA Writing Center, I discovered that my thesis needed to be on the mind of the reader throughout the essay. I also learned that all of the ideas that I present should be tied together by this one idea. Taking this newfound knowledge, I managed to make observations and connect them back to the thesis with statements such as, "This observation relates the characters together through their attention being focused on a single common object." Upon completion of this essay, I realized that my skills were not at a distinguished level yet, and that improvement was necessary. Cautiously, I received the prompt for the following essay and recognized that I needed to work on improving my skills. I realized that friends are beneficial and that they can provide you with support while you are writing. Their constructive advice helps you from falling over as they run behind you with their hands guiding your back. Their tips on how to write and how to write are exhibited through peer revisions. The peer editing exercises allow for each student to be paired with one another in order to help improve their essays. The most beneficial aspect of this process was when I had the opportunity to peer review my classmates' papers. By focusing on the points where I had experienced difficulty, I was able to better understand how to correct them. In J.B. Lee's rhetorical analysis, persuasive appeal system, I noticed that some of his problems included relating ideas back to his thesis. In one of his paragraphs, Lee commented, "I would have liked Nick to address some of the other possible meanings instead of just brushing through them by saying there are plenty of other interpretations that could have been made." I posed to him the question, what part of the triangle would this benefit? In efforts to help him connect the idea with his thesis. Realizing some of his coherence problems and providing him with solutions, I improved my own abilities as a writer. These edit exercises helped me when I began to practice on my own. Practicing is a necessity for improvement in both riding a bike and writing. When riding a bike, a strong first pedal benefits the rider by moving the bicycle forward and sets the foundation for the rest of the ride. In analytical writing, emphasis is placed on establishing an effective introduction that serves a similar purpose. Taking the experience that I had gained from the peer review exercises, I applied a similar self-revision to one of my own papers. I selected the introduction for my rhetorical analysis, establishing credibility. This particular essay presented tribulations of unity resulting from the ineffective introduction. As I focused on this paragraph, I developed numerous drafts before constructing one of adequate caliber. The progress of the paragraph and of my writing abilities is demonstrated in these revisions. I worked to incorporate the necessary components into the paragraph in an effective manner. For example, the statement to rhetorically analyze the effectiveness of his essay's relationship with the components of the rhetorical triangle, I used figures of ethos and logos in order to understand them. Serves as both the purpose and method statements. These revisions allowed for the introduction to better convey the aspects of the paper. After significant practice, I felt confident in writing the rest of my essay. At the beginning of this essay, I was beginning to stay balanced on the bike. To avoid falling off, I spent countless hours applying my efforts to my rhetorical analysis, establishing credibility. To keep the main idea that Austin faces difficulty in establishing good credibility on account of poor reasoning, by omitting the problems with the reasoning a higher level of credibility should result, being present throughout the essay, I connected each of the ideas back to the thesis. I connected my body paragraphs with comments such as, "This again helps to establish a good foundation of credibility and respect from the audience, and that they perceive the author as being open-minded and confident enough in his own argument to listen to opposing interpretations. This confidence is derived from logos, the logical reasoning used to support the argument by the author."
Additions such as this allowed for my observations to achieve a higher level of coherence and provided me with the confidence in my abilities. The momentum I had built up helped push me into my final paper, the wildcard. At this point, I'm able to ride my bike with very few problems. My wildcard exhibit demonstrates the reaching of my goal, making it to the end of the street. I chose to revisit an economic argumentative paper of mine involving an early rendition of the healthcare bill. This opportunity represented the best part of the English 1101 experience to me. Application. I was able to take my abilities and construct a more effective argument. The essay, should a universal healthcare system be implemented in the United States, demonstrates coherence when I connect my facts to the thesis with additions such as, if this is the case, the companies will be incurring losses. Over a period of time, these companies will not be able to compete against the government, who offers nationwide insurance that is cheap. The article symbolizes an incredulous amount of time and effort that I put into researching an early draft of the healthcare bill. Throughout the argument, I maintain unity and coherence. The result exemplifies my determination and strength of mind, which have helped to push me through this first-year writing experience. It encompasses different writing abilities and learning experiences that are similar to riding a bike. Standing next to the bike, I look confidently back down the street that is my first semester. My mind races back to the beginning and the mistakes that I had made. Then, as it transitions to my current position, I recognize the progress that I have made as a writer. The things that I had learned throughout the semester were becoming evident in the work from my other classes at the University of Georgia. In political science, my essays have become evolved from miscellaneous ideas to cohesive papers. This semester, my writing abilities have achieved a higher level that is capable of presenting more effective arguments and analyses. The dedication and hard work that led to the improvement of unity and coherence within my papers had a deeper effect on my writing than simply a better grade. Although I have learned to develop the components of analytical writing, there are still aspects that I would like to build upon during English 1102.
The main focus of this improvement would be on audience awareness and distinctive characteristics. I have reached the conclusion of this semester with improved writing skills in the areas of coherence and unity. I now possess the ability to construct an A paper and a drive to integrate these skills into my college experience. Throughout this semester, I made huge mistakes, encountered enormous faults, yet there is one thing that cannot be denied. I kept moving forward.